As winter's chill descends and daylight wanes, a familiar magic begins to stir across the globe. For many, it's a time of twinkling lights, festive carols, and the heartwarming glow of family gatherings. We envision roaring fires, beautifully adorned trees, and the shared joy of gift-giving. This is Christmas, a holiday synonymous with peace, goodwill, and the birth of Christ. Its imagery is so deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness that it feels as ancient and enduring as the winter itself. But what if the story we know, the traditions we cherish, are far more complex and ancient than we imagine? Consider the vibrant tapestry of a modern Christmas. Children eagerly awaiting Santa Claus, homes adorned with evergreen boughs and mistletoe, the scent of cinnamon and pine filling the air. These are not mere decorative flourishes. They are echoes, whispers from a distant past, woven into the very fabric of our contemporary celebrations. From the exchange of presents to the grand feast, from the warmth of the hearth to the symbolism of enduring life in the darkest days, every element carries a resonance that stretches back through millennia. This journey begins not in Bethlehem, but in the primeval forests and frost-bitten landscapes of ancient Europe and the sun-drenched amphitheaters of Rome. It begins with humanity's earliest fears and hopes surrounding the longest night, the winter solstice. Before the advent of Christianity, societies across the northern hemisphere grappled with the profound mystery of the sun's diminishing light, fearing its permanent departure and celebrating its eventual triumphant return. They sought to appease unpredictable deities, to ensure the earth's fertility, and to mark the turning of the year with rituals of profound significance. These were not isolated customs, but a rich, interwoven heritage of pagan observances. From the raucous revelry of Roman Saturnalia, where social order was momentarily inverted, to the solemn sacrifices of the Norse Yuletide, honoring Odin and Freya, and the esoteric rites of Mithraism, each culture developed its own powerful response to the winter's embrace. They lit fires, adorned their spaces with evergreens, feasted and exchanged tokens of goodwill, all designed to ward off the darkness and welcome the promise of renewed life. As we delve into these fascinating pre-Christian origins, we will uncover how these ancient traditions, born of necessity and spiritual yearning, laid the very foundations for the Christmas we celebrate today. The modern holiday is not a solitary tree, but a magnificent forest, its roots intertwined with the wisdom and wonder of our distant ancestors. The journey into the ancient roots of Christmas truly begins with a primal human experience, the winter solstice. Imagine a world devoid of artificial light, where the rhythm of life was dictated entirely by the sun and stars. As autumn bled into winter, days grew shorter, shadows lengthened, and the sun's warmth diminished, casting humanity into a profound period of uncertainty and fear. For our ancient ancestors, the deepening cold and encroaching darkness weren't merely an inconvenience. They represented a terrifying struggle for survival, a battle against nature's raw power. This was a time of immense vulnerability. Food stores dwindled, hunting became perilous, and the bitter cold threatened life itself. The longest night, the winter solstice, was not just an astronomical event, but a spiritual crisis. Would the sun ever return? Would the earth be reborn? This profound anxiety spawned a universal human response. To plead with the cosmos, to perform rituals that would encourage the sun's return, and to reassure themselves of life's continuity. This profound anxiety spawned a universal human response, to plead with the cosmos, to perform rituals that would encourage the sun's return, and to reassure themselves of life's continuity. Communities across the Northern Hemisphere, from Scandinavia to the Mediterranean, developed rich, complex traditions rooted in this shared experience. They sought to conquer the darkness with light, lighting great bonfires and countless candles, symbols of the sun they desperately yearned for. They adorned their homes and communal spaces with evergreens, firs, pines, holly, and mistletoe, potent symbols of enduring life amidst the stark grip of winter, a promise that vegetation would return. Feasting became a crucial communal act, a way to share dwindling resources, build solidarity, and celebrate the mere fact of survival. Animals were often slaughtered at this time, providing fresh meat before the harshest months, and their sacrifice was woven into the fabric of these celebratory feasts, honoring deities and ensuring future bounty. Animals were often slaughtered at this time, providing fresh meat before the harshest months, and their sacrifice was woven into the fabric of these celebratory feasts, honoring deities and ensuring future bounty. Gift-giving, too, emerged as a significant element, not merely as an act of generosity, but often as a form of appeasement or an exchange to strengthen social bonds during trying times. These weren't simply superstitions. They were sophisticated cultural responses born from centuries of observation and deep connection to the natural world. They were expressions of hope, acts of defiance against the gloom, and powerful affirmations of community in the face of nature's formidable power. These customs, echoing through the millennia, form the bedrock upon which many of our modern Christmas traditions are built, linking us intimately to the fears and hopes of our distant forebears who first dared to hope for light in the darkest of nights. Building upon the shared human response to winter's darkness, one of the most famous and influential ancient festivals was the Roman Saturnalia. Celebrated in mid-December, this week-long Bacchanalian feast honored Saturn, god of agriculture, wealth, and liberation, whose reign was associated with a mythical golden age of peace and abundance. Far from a solemn religious observance, Saturnalia was a period of unbridled public revelry, a joyous suspension of societal norms that captivated Roman society for centuries. At its heart, Saturnalia was a festival of role reversal. Social distinctions were dissolved. Masters served slaves at lavish banquets. Slaves enjoyed unusual freedoms, permitted to gamble, wear masters' clothing, and speak their minds without fear. The traditional toga was abandoned for more colorful, informal attire, the synthesis. Streets buzzed with excitement, echoing "Io Saturnalia," as citizens engaged in merrymaking, parades, and theatrical performances. Public schools and businesses closed, allowing all to partake. Gift-giving was a central tradition, evolving from simple wax candles, serei, exchanged as symbols of light and hope during the darkest days, to more elaborate presents. Small figurines, sigillaria, were popular, often given by parents to children. Gambling, normally forbidden, was openly permitted, adding to the chaotic, festive atmosphere. Elaborate feasts were a cornerstone, with rich foods and abundant wine flowing freely, reinforcing community bonds, celebrating temporary indulgence before social orders return. This chaotic liberty, a deliberate inversion of everyday life, served a profound purpose. It was a symbolic return to a primordial golden age, a communal catharsis shedding society's burdens before the world was reborn with lengthening days. The light of candles, evergreen decorations, generosity, and communal feasting resonated deeply with universal themes of winter solstice rituals. Saturnalia vividly demonstrates how Romans, like many ancient peoples, confronted winter's anxieties with joy, liberation, and the hopeful promise of renewal, leaving an indelible mark on future winter celebrations. Moving beyond the Roman festivities, winter's grasp held a different yet equally profound significance for the Norse peoples of northern Europe. Here, amidst the frozen landscapes and long dark nights, the festival of Yule, or Jol, was a cornerstone of their calendar. Celebrated around the winter solstice, Yule was a period of intense religious observance, communal solidarity, and a desperate plea for the sun's return, a beacon of hope against the encroaching cold and famine. Lasting for 12 days, Yule was a time when the veil between worlds was believed to be thinnest. Ominous spirits, known as the Wild Hunt, were thought to ride the winter winds, making it a time of both fear and reverence. To appease the gods and ensure prosperity for the coming year, elaborate rituals were undertaken. A central element was the Yule log, often a massive tree trunk brought into the great hall, ceremonially lit and allowed to burn for the entire 12 days, symbolizing the sun's enduring light and the triumph over darkness. Its ashes were sometimes kept for good luck, spread on fields or used in charms. Feasting was paramount.
Animal sacrifices, particularly boars, associated with Freyr, god of fertility, were common, their meat roasted and shared in lavish banquets within the longhouses. Mead and ale flowed freely, fostering an atmosphere of communal bonding and celebration. Drinking toasts, known as sumbal, were made to the gods, Odin, Thor, Freyr, and to ancestors, strengthening communal and spiritual ties. The Yule boar, specifically, was sworn upon for oaths and promises. The ever-present threat of winter fostered a deep connection to nature. Evergreen trees, such as firs and pines, were brought into homes or used in decorations, their enduring green needles a stark contrast to the barren landscape, symbolizing life's persistence. These ancient practices, born of a harsh environment, were not just revelry. They were vital acts of survival, a spiritual and social framework to navigate the most challenging season. The Yule celebrations, with their emphasis on light, life, feasting, and the return of the sun, echo powerful universal themes seen across other ancient winter festivals, binding communities in shared hope and tradition. While the Norse peoples looked to the forests and longhouses, another mystery cult flourished in the heart of the Roman Empire, offering its followers a different path to spiritual renewal amidst the winter darkness. This was the cult of Mithras, a secretive religion with Persian origins that gained significant traction among Roman soldiers, merchants, and even emperors from the 1st to the 4th centuries CE. Unlike public state religions, Mithraism was practiced in subterranean temples known as Mithraia, often built into caves or constructed to resemble them, symbolizing the cosmic cave where the god Mithras performed his most sacred act. These torch-lit caverns provided an intimate, clandestine setting for rituals. Central to Mithraic worship was the iconic image of Mithras slaying a sacred bull, an act known as the tauroctony. In this profound scene, Mithras, often depicted with a Phrygian cap, plunges a dagger into the bull's neck while averting his gaze. Surrounding him are symbolic figures: a dog, a snake, a scorpion attacking the bull's testicles, a raven, and often Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun, looking on. This cosmic drama was not a brutal act, but a creative one. From the bull's sacrifice, life
was believed to spring forth, grain from its tail, wine from its blood, symbolizing cosmic renewal, fertility, and the cyclical triumph of light over darkness. Followers of Mithras underwent a series of 7 grades of initiation, each associated with a planet and a specific animal. These initiations involved communal meals, often shared on benches within the Mithraeum, mimicking the god's feast after the bull sacrifice. These initiations involved communal meals, often shared on benches within the Mithraeum, mimicking the god's feast after the bull sacrifice. These banquets fostered strong bonds among the initiates, emphasizing loyalty, discipline, and hierarchy. The cult, deeply astrological, revered the sun, particularly its rebirth at the winter solstice. The celebration of Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, the birthday of the unconquered sun, on December 25th, was a significant date for Mithraics, marking the perceived return of the sun's strength after the longest night. The Mithraic emphasis on light conquering darkness, on rebirth and renewal through sacrifice, and its timing around the winter solstice offers another fascinating parallel to the diverse tapestry of ancient winter festivals. While it remained largely a male-only cult, its powerful symbolism and promise of cosmic order resonated deeply in a vast empire, illustrating humanity's universal yearning for hope and light during the darkest days of the year, long before the Star of Bethlehem ever rose. While the specific rituals of Mithraism, Saturnalia, and Yuletide differed profoundly, a compelling pattern emerges when we look across these ancient winter festivals. Despite their varied origins and deities, humanity's response to the deepest, darkest days of winter consistently revealed a universal yearning for light, warmth, and the promise of rebirth. From the Roman Empire to the farthest reaches of Scandinavia, these celebrations weren't just about survival. They were about defiance, community, and the profound psychological need to mark the turning point from decline to renewal. Consider the evergreen tree, a potent symbol found in numerous traditions. Long before it became synonymous with Christmas, cultures like the ancient Egyptians, Chinese, and Germanic tribes revered evergreens as symbols of eternal life and vitality. Bringing their branches indoors during the winter solstice to ward off evil spirits and signify life's persistence amidst the cold. Similarly, the use of light, candles, bonfires, lamps was ubiquitous. These weren't mere illuminations, they were invocations, literal and metaphorical beacons against the encroaching darkness, mirroring the sun's eventual return. The flickering flames of Mithraea, the Yule nog's glow, the ceremonial torches of Saturnalia, all spoke to this fundamental human impulse to kindle hope. Gift-giving, another seemingly modern tradition, also boasts ancient roots.
Roman Saturnalia saw masters and servants exchange presents, fostering temporary equality and goodwill. Germanic tribes presented offerings to their gods and each other during Yule, ensuring prosperity and appeasing spirits for the coming year. These acts cemented social bonds and provided comfort and reassurance during lean times. And, of course, feasting, the communal sharing of food and drink, was central to nearly every winter festival. From the lavish banquets of Saturnalia to the roasted boar of Yule, these gatherings were not just about sustenance, they were affirmations of life, celebrations of bounty, and vital acts of solidarity against the harshness of winter. These shared motifs, evergreens, lights, gifts, and feasting, illustrate a fascinating cross-cultural tapestry. They represent humanity's deep-seated wisdom in navigating the cycles of nature, finding comfort in ritual, and collectively declaring that even in the longest night, hope endures. These weren't isolated coincidences, but deeply ingrained responses to shared existential realities, laying a profound psychological and cultural groundwork. They remind us that the spirit of winter celebration, long before the narrative of Bethlehem, was a testament to human resilience and our enduring quest for meaning and light in the darkest season. This rich tapestry of pre-Christian winter celebrations was perhaps inevitable that a burgeoning new faith, Christianity, would encounter and eventually interact with these deeply entrenched traditions. As the early church expanded across the Roman Empire and beyond, it faced a strategic challenge of integrating diverse pagan populations. Rather than advocating for outright abolition, a more pragmatic approach often emerged: adaptation and assimilation. The very timing of Christ's birth provides a prime example. The Gospels offer no precise date for Jesus' nativity, and for centuries various dates were celebrated. However, by the 4th century, December 25th began to gain significant prominence. This alignment was no mere coincidence. Placing Christ's birth around the winter solstice, a period already imbued with profound spiritual significance, representing the rebirth of the sun across myriad cultures, allowed for a smoother cultural transition. It recontextualized existing seasonal observances, offering a familiar framework upon which to drape a new sacred narrative. This wasn't a sudden decree, but a gradual, organic process. Early Christian communities, living amidst a pagan world, often repurposed existing symbols. The evergreen tree, once a potent emblem of pagan vitality, could be reinterpreted to symbolize eternal life through Christ. Light, previously used in pagan rites to invoke the sun god or ward off spirits, could now represent Christ as the light of the world.
Even communal feasting and gift-giving, central to Saturnalia and Yuletide, found new resonance within a Christian context, fostering charity and fellowship. We see subtle hints of this intricate integration in ancient frescoes and catacomb art, where Christian symbols sometimes appear alongside or even morph from earlier pagan motifs. The Church, in its wisdom, recognized the power of tradition and the comfort of the familiar. By subtly absorbing and transforming these established pagan rites, Christianity didn't erase the past. It skillfully wove it into a vibrant, new spiritual fabric. The birth of Christ thus became not just a new holy day, but a powerful culmination, a spiritual heir to humanity's age-old longing for light and hope in the deepest heart of winter. This deliberate integration ensured a deeper rootedness for the Christian message, creating a holiday carrying the resonant echoes of a much older, more universal human story.
The story of Christmas isn't just Bethlehem's narrative, but a tapestry woven from millennia of cultures. It's a testament to humanity's quest for light in winter's darkness, a fusion of ancient yearnings and new revelations. The integration of pagan rites by the early Church wasn't erasure, but profound transformation. Yule logs, once burned for Norse deities, found new meaning as symbols of Christ's enduring light. The evergreen, revered by pagan traditions for its vitality, became an emblem of eternal life, evolving into the decorated Christmas tree. Communal feasts and gift-giving, echoes of Saturnalia, were imbued with Christian virtues of charity and generosity, fostering community. Even the spirit of merriment once dedicated to pagan gods was redirected towards Christ's birth. This process wasn't instantaneous or universally accepted. Some early Christian leaders resisted such appropriations, yet the cultural momentum of existing winter festivals proved irresistible. Over centuries, disparate threads, Roman Saturnalia, Germanic Yuletide, Persian Mithraic ceremonies, countless local customs were slowly, organically integrated into the Christian narrative. The result was a rich, syncretic holiday uniquely positioned to resonate with vast populations. It embraced the joy of the returning sun, reinterpreting it as the sun's arrival. It channeled the human impulse to gather, feast, and exchange tokens during the longest nights, giving these actions profound spiritual context. Christmas, as we know it, is thus a magnificent historical collage, a cultural mosaic mirroring our shared human history. As we adorn our homes with lights and evergreens, share meals and exchange gifts, we participate in a deep, ancient conversation. We echo the hopes of generations who, long before Bethlehem's star, sought comfort and meaning in winter's darkest days.
These echoes connect us to a past far richer, reminding us that history, like tradition, is a living, evolving entity. So, this holiday season, as you gather, reflect. What other ancient echoes might you be celebrating without even knowing it? Today, as winter's chill descends and festive lights begin to twinkle, we are not merely participating in a modern Christian celebration. We are, in fact, engaging in a dialogue with a past far older than Bethlehem's star. Each tradition, from the simplest ornament to the grandest feast, carries the whisper of ancient beliefs, a testament to humanity's enduring quest for light and community amidst the longest nights. Consider the evergreen tree, standing resolute against the winter bleakness. Long before its boughs held Christian symbolism, it represented life's tenacious spirit to pagan peoples, a promise of spring's eventual return. Its resilience, then and now, speaks to our shared human hope for renewal. And the lights that adorn our homes and public spaces, they are direct descendants of ancient bonfires and flickering candles, lit by our ancestors to ward off the encroaching darkness, to invite the sun's rebirth, and to symbolize the triumph of warmth over cold. The act of exchanging gifts, a cherished aspect of Christmas, resonates with the boisterous generosity of Saturnalia, where Romans shared tokens of good fortune, or even the offerings made during Yuletide to ensure prosperity. It's a primal human impulse to share abundance and reinforce social bonds during challenging times. Our communal feasts, laden with seasonal fare, echo the lavish banquets of various winter festivals, a collective sigh of relief and celebration that the darkest days were passing, a time to gather and give thanks. Even the very spirit of merriment, the joy and camaraderie that fills the air, has roots in the ancient reversal of roles during Saturnalia, or the boisterous carousing that accompanied Norse Yuletide. It's a collective release, a triumph over winter's austerity, rechanneled through centuries into the celebration of Christ's birth. Christmas, then, is a magnificent historical collage, a cultural mosaic mirroring our shared human journey. It embraced the joy of the returning sun, reinterpreting it as the sun's arrival. It channeled the human impulse to gather, feast, and exchange tokens during the longest nights, giving these actions profound spiritual context. As we adorn our homes with lights and evergreens, share meals and exchange gifts, we participate in a deep, ancient conversation. We echo the hopes of generations who long before Bethlehem's star sought comfort and meaning in winter's darkest days. These echoes connect us to a past far richer, reminding us that history, like tradition, is a living, evolving entity. So, this holiday season, as you gather, reflect. What other ancient echoes might you be celebrating without even knowing it? The more we understand these roots, the deeper and more meaningful our celebrations become, connecting us not just to a spiritual narrative, but to the vast, continuous stream of human experience.